Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at a certain frequency, including you and your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. These energies can be measured, recorded, and duplicated with simple devices. Controllers and dream squashers have developed advanced tech to do this from a distance, and has been used to destroy targets and communities and for testing towards artificial intelligence, transhumanism, and population control.
We should get used to the idea that we are now basically the gods of planet Earth. We have now divine powers of creation and destruction. And dictators always dreamt about completely eliminating privacy, monitoring everybody all the time and knowing everything you do, and not just everything you do, but even everything you think and everything you feel. Whether it's a tyrant in ancient Greece or whether it's Stalin, they always dreamt about it. They could never do it because it was technically impossible. Now it's possible.
The creators and members of the following groups have been targeted with ongoing bullying, abuse, and violence by directions from controllers with the highest of clearance. You might think they are a bunch of terrorists that look like this, but they're ordinary people that look like this.
Hello, I'm Dr. Catherine Horton.
My name is Richard Lighthouse. I work with a group called Targeted Justice.
My name is Pearlie Gardiner.
Hello, my name is Tyrone Alexander Dew.
My name is Adelina Bond.
Hi, my name is Sakina Jones.
We estimate there's about 1.5 million targeted individuals worldwide and approximately 170,000 here in the United States.
Millions of individuals with similar ideas and identical ongoing experiences that are more unbelievable than the previous.
I'm doing this to raise awareness and to ensure my safety and the safety of the ones that I love, because there is strength in numbers and there is strength in high visibility, you know.
Support network is specifically broken up by the intelligence agency so that these people cannot seek help. Their income opportunities are devastated. Their companies are bankrupted. They lose their job. They are made to lose their job. They are forced to act out using these technologies to actually portray them systematically as mad. And many, many other horrific things are happening to them in a systematic fashion.
I try to put on a brave face for the channel because I want to live a life of peace. I want to live a life of positivity, but this is a constant background issue for me now.
Or slander campaigns, and also sometimes the targeting and the maiming and murder of their pets.
24/7, 365 continuous incidents that fall under two main categories. First, targets are
Harassed with what we call gang stalking.
gang stalking?
Gang stalking or organized stalking.
Loosely defined, gang stalking is where organized groups target and harass unwilling victims to the point of paranoia, leaving the victims to deal with skeptical family members and skeptical law enforcement.
This isn't stalking done by a former spouse or former boyfriend or someone that's disgruntled at you, but stalking that's being done by total strangers in an organized fashion.
Organized stalking includes incidents that were reported by several members of the RFS at the original HQ after one certain individual joined the service. Slander and surveillance, bullying and harassment, stalking, hacking, provoking, threats, gaslighting, theft and vandalism, theft and tampering of vehicles to set up for tragedy. But rather than one individual suspected of these achievements, it is many stalkers with a different role to play, extending from the workplace to all places in the community, scheduled appointments, and in the home.
The trauma-based mind control side up on me in all angles, in all aspects of my life.
And this is just the beginning, so this is just what falls under the organized stalking and harassment category.
Only the beginning?
Then come a new category, which is attacks with electromagnetic equipment.
The targeted community includes government scientists and engineers. Experts who say the most common ability for subliminal control is
Putting voices into people's heads.
I mean, voices are the easiest ones.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, But after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
There's been a lot of research done into how to put voices into one's head. It was found long ago that if you can put a voice into someone's head, you can do several things. If I put a voice that's foreign to your normal thought pattern in your head, that becomes harassment. And the harassment over time will make you display signs of schizophrenia. When you go and tell people that you're hearing voices, we've been patterned to turnkey see that as schizophrenia and not even look to see if there's a legitimate source for it. If I put a voice in your head that's in your voice, and if you pattern a thought, like I tell some of these victims, when you read a book, you're actually hearing your own voice in your head as you read. If I put that voice in your head, then that becomes a thought. Wow. And you'll act on those thoughts, and that's how they think that some of this is being used for subliminal control.
How do you control a brain? Most people don't believe that. Oh, you can't control me. I have my own free will. There's no way you can get to my soul. Well, sorry, that's not true.
Perceptions can be controlled. The actual brain thought processes can be overloaded or can be forced onto certain topics. The internal dialogue can be forced onto certain topics.
Something that I worked on, that I'm not proud of, but it's called the Voice of God weapon. So there are 4 different techniques and technologies that can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques.
Awesome!
Also, there's something called forced speech, man.
The speech can be forced.
Forced speech? Huh?
They can be forced to say certain things that they don't mean to say.
Some of that will come out through your own motor cortex, the actions of verbiage. It's a weird sensation. I know it's going to be difficult for you to describe, but it's quite common amongst TIs.
These 3, organized gang stalking, mind control, and electronic harassment, they are all have to be together.
Torture, inflicted with the use of directed energy weapons.
Shooting direct energy weapons through my house.
This is a trauma-based mind control. They have to traumatize their victim.
I sleep in my car, by the way. I've been sleeping in my car for some time now because I can't sleep in my house.
Almost all of the victims that I've spoken to complain that the attacks seem to be worse at night and seem to be geared at actually sleep depriving them.
Most people don't believe it's happening. You can be tortured in your own home. No one will believe you. But this is torture, and I want there to be no doubt about it. This is torture, destruction of life, and a destruction to misery for all these people. And it's a war crime. It's a crime against humanity for sure.
I'm going to show you some software that I wrote. I'm going to show you some of the parameters I experiment with. Pain and fear, schizophrenia, very easy to create.
Without any human rights whatsoever. And they become a plaything and an avatar for testing purposes of the intelligence agencies. So they will have anything you can imagine done to them. Not just property damage and Stasi-style stalking or COINTEL-style stalking, but also mind interference, very much akin to the death camp experiments from the Nazi times, the MK Ultra trauma-based mind control experiments.
One of the experiments was to take an ordinary sane person, cause insanity, and have a psychiatrist who was unknown to everybody diagnose schizophrenia or paranoia or a psychiatric illness. That was a successful outcome.
To calm the population, and so they don't protest, they don't care. But you can also do it to individuals, and very specifically. You can clone emotions onto them outside of the lab, and it's part of this remote technology.
Many combinations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body.
Well, human beings, naturally, we're driven by our emotions, so it's the perfect lever in controlling a human being. And so they very much study how injecting different emotions in different situations will alter the behavior of the human being. They're increasing this, and a lot of people won't believe me, and that's fine, but they're increasing this. They are scaling this technology to the entire population.
All of the microwave transmitters are going up everywhere because somebody, if they wanted to, could use them for other effects. The system is up and running.
When a journalist made a Freedom of Information request on an unrelated topic, they were accidentally sent one file titled emeffectsonthehumanbody.zip, which contained mind control techniques and the effects including forced speech and transmitting voices, which was successfully done half a century ago. Never have we ever seen an assault on a recall message button following this boo-boo.
Victims are also implanted non-consensually.
I had synthetic nanotechnology in my body.
So these nanoparticles are activated under certain magnetic frequency and will alter the brain patterns and pathways.
These are nanotechs inside of our body, guys. Unbelievable.
I'm disgusted that this is being done to my own citizens. I did not agree to work on these programs for that purpose.
So everything, psychological terrorism, vandalism, non-consensual medical experimentation, remote brain interference, limb control, speech control, horrific injuries, horrific testing.
Scientists at the end of the war were hanged for what scientists today are doing and getting away with. Absolutely, yep.
Then the severe electronic sexual assaults started.
Victims are tortured in a systematic way. They experience sexual assaults when essentially their genitals are targeted and tortured in a systematic way.
Rape, electronic sex, rape.
Many of these so-called victims of what Hall describes as gang stalking meet up on the internet, finding comfort and information from others who say they too suffer from electronic stalking, mind control, and even rape.
Rape, yeah. Rape, guys, yeah. Unbelievable.
The first logical thing they do is go to the police. Well, the police can't help you. They don't. They're going to give you a lockup and 72 hours in a psych ward.
These are known or suspected terrorists, yet they have a category called a non-investigative subject. Now, why would you claim someone is a known or suspected terrorist and you don't want to investigate them?
I'm a God-fearing, good human being that's here to love people. I'm not a threat to the system, but if one lady with a packet of fairy cards has been able to draw this much attention, then who's really got the power? Who's really got the power, friends?
Why would you do that? Why would you claim someone's a terrorist, but you're not going to investigate them? Because they know they're not terrorists. So this is simply a way for them to track them, and it helps to justify to sheriff's office, police departments, and first responders, oh, this person's name's on the watch list, don't treat them, don't help them. So they are unknowingly participating in the harassment because they're told these people are terrorists, and of course they're not.
All of these technologies are done remotely. Am I correct? This is all can
yes,
this all be done remotely?
This is all done remotely now. They used to have to put you in a laboratory. Then they would run the electroshock, give you drugs, use hypnosis, and then they could create split personalities and create Manchurian candidates. Now it can all be done remotely in the privacy of your own home. In fact, they prefer isolation.
A lot of the time, the victims are not believed because people think, oh, so many things could never happen to one person at the same time, and that's precisely the point. It is to discredit them, and the key is to realize this is not by chance. This is a targeted takedown operation by a criminal group. So a criminal ganging up on a person, and as I said, this is done now to a staggering number of people. So we're talking in the many thousands per country, but people report that it could be as much as in the millions worldwide.
I get emails from just about every country in the world with people complaining about this, and at least from a medical perspective, You know, for a psychiatrist or for a medical doctor that maybe sees one person in their practice that's complaining of this, it's real easy to see it as mental illness. But when you dive into it a little deeper, like I have, and you're really seeing the vast numbers of people globally that are having not similar, but identical complaints, then it's clear as day that there's something more to it.
One has to go back and actually listen to what these victims have been saying all these years to get a feeling for the extent of the crimes, the lawlessness and the psychopathology, ruthlessness and criminality in the intelligence agencies who have been committing these crimes for decades. And not just to civilian victims, but they've also been doing the same thing to their own agents.
Considering we have survivors' testimonies for the past 6 decades, we had an exponential increase in targets after 2012, which included US diplomats being hit with directed energy. Targeting now has a medical term, Havana Syndrome.
The so-called Havana Syndrome attacks against U.S. personnel appear to be increasing.
You have to be aware that these agencies are threatening what is fundamental to human rights everywhere. And you've got to ensure that you have some way of verifying and keeping these agencies in line.
We gather together, there's strength in numbers, and we refuse to succumb to fear.
My willpower is stronger than your stupid frequencies or microchip nanotech. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
If you are a TI and want to take action, we encourage you to join our class action lawsuit.
The very first International TI Day was declared in 2018. Following the leadership of Freedom for Targeted Individuals, producing clips to raise awareness, which I've reposted on my channel, Professor Niels Melzer published our stories on the United Nations website, Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, who are investigating to squash this crime against humanity. We've been pushing towards a global class action. For the past few months, I've taken a leadership role and coordinating with Aussie Targets. So targets in Australia should contact me. Otherwise, see targetedjustice.com for your group leader by location. Anyway, we will do everything in our power. We will do whatever it takes to stop the madness, to stop the pain. I believe we can proceed without identifying perpetrators because I don't want to die. Not that I'm afraid of death. I just want the targeting to stop. So again, I'll ask, stop targeting me. I can't give you what you want. Along with the class action led by Dr. Rainer Fulmich and the Corona Investigative Committee, are 2 major movements pushing back against crimes against humanity. I feel that humanity is winning, so controllers will be playing other tricks. So before we see Internet 2.0 or power outages, food and fuel shortages, manufactured or natural disasters, lockdowns from foot-in-mouth, monkeypox, climate change, penguin pox, whatever it may be, I wish for all of you and your families the strength and resources to navigate through dark and difficult terrain, posing for selfies on the other side. To all targets, stay strong. Remember that harming yourself and others is their business, not yours. And Buddy and I will leave you with a message, best spoken by Eric Thomas. Much love. Peace.
What will you do with your pain? Will you let it break you or will you let it redefine you? I outlasted the pain.